the eccentric loading protocol for the elbow. We would use this after acute inflammation and that inflammation is resolved when we want them doing eccentric contractions and no concentric contractions. So we're going to be working on forearm supination, pronation, and wrist flexion and extension. And so we'll just have the patient sitting here, and then we will work on pronation and supination in this direction. So we want them doing only eccentric contractions. And so we will just let them fall into supination, working eccentrically the pronators, and I will passively bring him back. And he will fall into that position eccentrically. I'll bring him back. And then we will go the other way. So falling into pronation, eccentrically working the supinators. He'll fall down, and then I will passively bring him back to the middle. And then we will work in this position for the wrist flexor. So we're going to have him fall into wrist extension, eccentrically working the wrist flexors, and I will passively bring him back, let him fall, and bring him back. And then we will switch. So then he will fall into flexion, eccentrically working the extensors of the wrist, and I will passively bring him back and let him fall.
And so for this example, we're using a phone in place of a weight. Obviously, the weight would depend on your patient and what they're capable of doing at that point. This would also progress in the weeks as they get stronger with it. So with the movements, when we did the moving into supination or then moving into flexion eccentrically, those would both be for medial epicondylalgia or golfer's elbow. And when we moved into pronation or into flexion eccentrically, we're going to be using muscles attaching from the lateral epicondyle. So for those with lateral epicondylalgia or tennis elbow, that would be the movements that we would correlate with the eccentric loading protocol.
And we would be doing this 10 sets 2 to 3 times, or 10 reps 2 to 3 times a day.